Imagine if you could easily find solutions to make your region or city smarter, greener, better connected, more social, and closer to citizens. The Interreg Europe Policy Learning Platform can help you access knowledge about the latest policy trends, discover expert-validated good practices from all over Europe, find solutions in our peer review, get tailored support from our expert team. We can connect you with the right people and organizations. Together, we will find ways to solve your region's or city's challenges. Start your policy learning journey today.
Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to this Interreg Europe's Policy Learning Platform webinar on textiles waste reduction. We have today some really excellent speakers lined up for you and some good practices that we would like to share, and we are looking forward to a great discussion on this interesting topic of textiles waste and how we can maybe tackle the reduction of that massive waste stream. So first of all, I would like to introduce the colleagues that are here with us today. So my name is Astrid Severin. I'm a thematic expert for Greener Europe at the Policy Learning Platform, and I'm here together with my colleague James. So hello, James. How are you today?
Afternoon. Yeah, very good. Looking forward to this one.
Thank you. And we also have Lotte van Meel. We're happy to have you. She's our technical wizard on this webinar, helping us to make sure that everything goes well and also writing the most interesting things in the chat. So before we are starting, just some little housekeeping rules. We would like to, we are recording this webinar, as you know, and you will be able to find the recording and all the presentations later on the Interreg Europe portal so that you can look at them again or share them with colleagues which haven't been able to attend today. And we would also ask you not to be shy. Please ask us questions and contribute. You can write in the chat and we will try to answer as many questions as possible on the topic. You will also find in the chat a lot of useful information and links that we will post there from time to time. And as always, we will ask you to give us your feedback. After the end of the webinar, there is a survey popping up, so please let us know what we can do better in the future or what topics you would like to see that we can cover with the Interreg Europe Policy Learning Platform. So today's episode on textiles waste reduction is part of a series we have started last week with plastics waste. The recordings and all the presentations are already online, so you can watch them if you have missed that episode. And next week, you can also still register for our webinar on food waste that is taking place on the 29th of October from 10 to 11:30 Central European time. So I would like to introduce our agenda, and maybe our speakers can turn on their cameras. We will start after a short introduction and a little poll. We will start with a keynote from Vincenzo Gente from the European Commission DG Environment. So hello, Vincenzo. To you, we would take us through the view of the European Commission on the circular economy for textiles. We will then dive into our good practices. We will start of Boros, where we have Jonas Widerström and Anett Aldman, which are coming from Science Park Boros, which will share their good practice with us. And we will then finally speak about free fashion. That is a very nice presentation from Dieuwertje Vorstenbosch from Free Fashion on the Netherlands. Then we will have a little panel discussion and finally wrap off the whole session with some conclusions. And then we will go home all together after you filled in your survey, of course. So We're here for the Interreg Europe program. The objective of this program is to improve regional development policies. So what can you do to help reducing textiles waste through the policies in your region or municipality? And we try to help policymakers to find new solutions and inspiration by the work of others. And that's what we're exactly doing here today. The program scope is very large. It's the only program that covers all EU countries, plus we have Norway and Switzerland, and we have been joined by 7 new countries: Albania, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Moldova, Montenegro, North Macedonia, and Ukraine and Serbia in this program. We are not only covering green topics, of course, we have much more in store and in offer. We're also working on smart topics, on connected, on social, on citizen topics, and of course also on some governance issues. So everybody knows the main action that Interreg Europe is carrying out. These are projects which are working together for a limited number of years so that they can directly exchange between the regions participating in the project on their experiences. However, there is a second big leg or pillar of the Interreg Europe program, which is the policy learning platform, and that helps to exploit all the achievements that have been made by the projects so that we can share them with you through webinars and other tools. So we do that through sharing knowledge. We have lots of different materials that we are producing, also in writing, such as policy briefs and stories. We're having meetings like people, what we are calling people, where we help our community to meet. This is through webinars and other online events, but also through on-site events, which we are organizing as well in the form of workshops and capacity buildings. And we have also the strength of expertise. So the main service under expertise is what we call peer reviews. Peer reviews are 2-day events where we are a policy-making authority can put forward a policy challenge, and we are organizing this event so that peers are coming to you and exchanging with you what they have been doing and make some recommendations which are really specific and tailor-made for your region or municipality. So we have been had more than 120 peer reviews so far. One of them has been focusing on the circular economy in textiles and clothing from the region of Central Macedonia, where a lot of cotton, for example, is being produced. So the region wanted to see how they can more develop, promote their regional brand and tackle the challenges for the industry in their region. So here you see what we have been doing in terms of resources for waste reduction. So we have several policy briefs. We have had expertise exchanges with peer reviews for all topics on circular economy, be it waste collection or prevention, reuse and recycling. And we also have several webinars which we have already done for waste prevention, for circular economy. So there's a lot of material available which you can all find in the Interreg Europe portal. Our next policy brief that's coming up is on textiles waste, and we will take home a lot of what you are discussing and asking today in our recommendations in our textiles policy brief, where you also find a lot of input on EU policies, but also funding solutions and many good practices. So we will share that with you hopefully very soon, not only with all the participants, but also on the portal. So now we would like to know a little bit more about you and what you have been thinking about the topic, why you're here. And we have been preparing some Slidos, so please take part in our poll. You can do this in 3 different ways. So you can follow the link that has been posted in the chat, or you can scan the QR code. Of course, you can also simply go to the Slido website and enter the code for these polls. So once you have done so, I would ask my colleague to start sharing our first question. So participants are starting already to type. So what is it do you consider to be the main challenge when it comes to managing used textiles and textiles waste? We will make a little word cloud where we can see what are the challenges that you are considering. So we already see it's fast fashion, public awareness about the waste, microplastics, recycling, big issue. Fast fashion becomes really much bigger. We have enormous amounts of waste as well. There's the issue of finding a viable business model for collection and treatment. Fiber recycling, so that goes all in the recycling direction. No recycling left, consumer behavior. So that's, I think, the main big topics that we see is fast fashion, recycling issues. Anything else, James, you would like to highlight?
Well, I see in a couple of places lots and enormous amount.
Yes.
And I think that's indeed like something that just the sheer quantities of this waste stream is really something, and certainly causing a big part of the challenge that we're facing.
Yeah, I think it is 5 million tons per year of discarded textiles waste, and a little bit less than 1% that can currently be recycled. So a huge issue that we're facing, and that is what we're seeing here as well in the word cloud. So thank you very much for participating in that. Our second question, our second Slido is just a question to you. Are textiles collected separately in your region? So yes, no, or not sure. So I would say 3/4 says yes, so it's really good result. We're still having work to do in some other regions, which is an interesting fact for Vincenzo, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you very much for participating in that. And then our last question is, where do you think the used textiles in your region end up? So once they're collected, where do they go? They are sorted and reused locally, landfilled or incinerated, exported within the EU or outside the EU. You don't know. Yeah, I think that was it. That was it. Mm-hmm. Or you have no idea. Oh, this is going between different areas. We see very clearly that almost half of you think that they're in landfilled or incinerated, which is of course not a good thing. A lot exported outside of the EU. 40% think that they are also sorted and reused locally, which seems to be a good result. And recycled or downcycled in your region. Okay, 34%. So yeah, a mixed picture that we're having here. A lot of export, landfilling and incineration, but also some good local actions already with sorting and reusing them locally. Well, thank you very much for participating in that. That gives us a little bit of a view on where we are standing and where our audience is standing in regards to waste reduction in textiles. And with that, we are really happy today to give the word to Vincenzo Gente, which is coming from DG Environment, and you will set a little bit the frame for us with the Waste Framework Directive and the approach to textiles waste. So, Vincenzo, the word is yours. We can see your presentation already. Yeah. That's excellent. Thank you. And you're muted still. Sorry.
Here I am. I think now you can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, thank you for the invitation. And I was very happy to see also this Slido presentation and see some of the ideas that or information that the participants have about textile use, textile waste. It's always useful to have this information directly for people that are working on this. So I will today we present you very briefly what we are doing on textile, focusing particularly on the revised Waste Framework Directive that has been that entered into force last week. So we have now an official text published on the official journal for reference. So just to present you also a little bit about the
we lost your presentation now.
You don't see my presentation?
Yeah, I don't see it anymore.
Now?
It's coming back. Yes, now it's there. Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Okay. So I was saying the Waste Framework Directive, the revised Waste Framework Directive is covering two specific sectors. So it's textiles, that includes also footwear and food waste. These sectors were chosen because they have they were selected based on the because of very resource intensive sectors and especially about textile consumption that on the average has the fourth highest impact on the environment and climate change after food, housing, mobility. I will present today, I will focus on textiles, not on food waste, but maybe food waste will be the subject of the next webinar, so you might have some insight also in the next webinar. Textiles, it's not only about consumption of textile, but it's also about the waste that is being generating. It's about 2.6 million per year generation of textile, and only still very small part of it ends up being recycled properly or reused. The history of the files, the commitment to look at textile was already included in the Circular Economy Action Plan, the second one, the one of 2020, and in the EU Strategy for Sustainable Circular Textile. With these two initiatives, there was the EU committed to act in order to increase prevention of waste generation and also to improve the circularity of textiles. And doing the revised Waste Framework Directive is responding to this main objective by introducing extended producer responsibility for textile. We will see afterwards. Regarding food textile, just to mention the response also to the EU commitment to achieve one of the Sustainable Development goal. It's particularly the targets 12-13 to have the capita per capita food waste by 2030, and that's why there were in the revised Waste Framework Directive there are now binding targets for food waste reduction. So what's new about textiles? We have three main elements, at least the ones that I would like to present to you today. One, as I said before, is the extended producer responsibility for textiles, or EPR. Then there are some more general rules that apply in general to textile waste and textile waste management. And then also the shipment of textiles, in particular some new rules in the case economic operators would like to ship used textile within and outside the EU. So these are the three main elements that I would like to present to you today, because they are the one, let's say, that really characterize the new provisions included in the revised Waste Framework Directive. So for extended producer responsibility for textiles, the directive, the revised directive, identify clearly the scope of the products that fall within the EPR, and these are reported clearly in Annex 4C, and they are identified by specific CN codes. And these include generally household textile products, articles of apparel, clothing accessory, and footwear. And these are, so the most common one that can be found now as waste or used textile as post-consumer waste. The Waste Framework Directive defines also who are the economic operators in charge, that will be responsible for EPR, and so there are specific categories of producers, and these, to summarize, the different kinds of producers are the ones that anyway make available on the market for the first time within the territory or member states the products. There are different kinds of producers in this context, EPR producers, which include manufacturers, importers, and distributors, and also producers that sells via distance contracts or online sellers their products. According to the EPR's provisions, these producers that are identified, they have to cover the cost for the entire life cycle for the overall waste management of the used and textile waste. So from the collection to the recycling and hopefully not that much disposal of textiles. The activities to be covered by the financial contributions paid for the EPR fees are indeed also covering other aspects like information campaigns or support to research and development of technologies that can be used for improving sorting, recycling, collection of textiles. And one last point is that the producer have to register in a so-called producer registers, and for this in the Commission we will developing an harmonized format via implementing acts. Then that differently from other EPR that are already in place for textiles, it is mandatory to have producer responsibility organization. So producers alone, in principle, are not allowed to fulfill their EPR obligations alone, but they have to join an EPR, a PRO organization, so producer responsibility organizations. This is very important because we like that it's a collective effort and there are no single producers dealing only with specific textile waste streams, but we would like really to be these are collective exercise and that covers all the regions in the member states in the EU. PRO are also will have to set EPR fee, so the financial contribution that producers have to pay, and these have to be based on the weight and where appropriate by the number of textiles they make available on the market, and they also have to be eco-modulated according to harmonized sustainability criteria and measurement methods. We make specifically reference to the eco design for sustainable product regulations. I will also touch upon later on this, but what we aim at is that the ESPR sustainable criteria for textile that will be adopted beginning of 2027 will be used for an implementing act under the Waste Framework Directive to provide with a methodology criteria in order that in all member states this modulation can happen in the same way. Another point that was added during the negotiation with the co-legislators is that the fees can also be modulated according to producer practices that lead to over generation of waste, what generally referred to as ultra fast fashion or fast fashion. So that's also something that was specifically included to address specifically the issues of fast fashion that I could see was a concern of the participants to this webinar. PROs will also have to set up a separate collection system to cover all the area, so they should not be preferred area compared to others. And what they collect then will be treated according to the waste hierarchy. So the priority will be given to reuse, preparing for use, and then recycling, and then incineration and landfill. And they have also obligation regarding, as I said before, informing the end user. So there will be also the publication on their website about the information of waste and the sustainability of textiles sector. Regarding the other point on the rules on textile waste management, as you know, as from 1st January 2025, member states have the obligation to set up separate collection of textiles. And this is a very broad obligation because there are no specific definition of what textile is. But following this separate collection of textile, one new obligation is that what is separately collected as textile should be considered as waste. In this way, we would like to have a normalized approach across member states in order not to have different interpretation of used textile, because it's very subjective and may differ different from member states to member states based on a different cultural approach, but also from individual to individual. So that would harmonize, at least legally speaking, what we mean for waste textile. As I said before, the waste that is collected has to ensure has to be aligned with the waste hierarchy. Let's follow with that. And then there are some other rules for the shipment of used textile, which I mentioned before. And basically, the main point that I would like to report is that there are, if used textile has to be shipped, so textile to be shipped as used textile, not as waste, this has to be textile that is collected, has to undergo a sorting operation. And these criteria of the sorting operation has also to be clearly exposed or added in the bale that is shipped. All that is not used textile then will be shipped as waste, so we follow the rules of the waste shipment regulation. This is the timing for the main provisions. So now we have some dates there. So I left there the 1st January 2025, but that comes from the revision 2018. The new revision sets will have to be transposed into national laws by 17th of June 2027. So it's 20 months after the entry into force. The EPR has to be established by 17th of April 2028, 30 months after the entry into force. And there is a derogation for micro enterprises. Will be entering in the scope of EPR 1 year after. Related initiatives, as I said before, there is the delegated act under the ESPR that will set the sustainability criteria for textile. That's going to be adopted first quarter 2027, and also end of waste criteria for textile that I will illustrate just in the following slide, if I'm not wrong. The next one. So these are the links with other initiatives, end of waste criteria I mentioned before, design for sustainable product regulation, and waste shipment regulation. For end of waste criteria for textile, this is the timeline of the study that's now being carried out by the GRC, the Joint Research Center of the European Commission, and should be finalized by the end of this year. There are already dates for the last stakeholder workshop that should be in the first days of December. I don't remember exactly if the 3rd and the 4th of December or some of those days. And after that, there will be we will be in charge of transforming this or making use of this technical proposal from the JRC to develop an implementing act for end-of-waste criteria for textile, which will have two main endpoints for waste. One is for as textile that is assessed for use, and another one is for after recycling. The Eco-Design for Sustainable Product Regulation, it's framework regulations that have been adopted last year, that entered force last year, where there are different indication of different criteria that can be used to increase the sustainability of products, but only some of them will be used for the different product groups. And the first one that Eco-Design ESPR are working on is textile apparels. So that would be the indication of which of the criteria makes more sense for textiles products. And that's it, because the other activity, waste regulation, is very specific, so I'm not going to talk about that. I don't know. I hope I stayed within the time, and if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you, Vincenzo. You stayed perfectly within time. That was right on schedule. So thank you very much. I think it's very encouraging to see all of the activities of the Commission and all the legislations, and also interesting to see how they're working together, the Waste Framework Directive with the eco-design regulation. I think that's going to make a really big difference on this topic. So I want to encourage people to put their questions in the chat. We're really lucky today to have Vincenzo with us, who's one of the key people working on this file. So while you get your questions in, I just have a first question for you, Vincenzo. So talking about the Waste Framework Directive, we have in the room a lot of local and regional policymakers, waste managers. How do you think these new rules are going to impact their work?
The idea is that making producer responsibility for the collection and waste management, that will increase the possibility of having these activities well financed by producers, and also to steer investment in the sector, because that will be responsible to follow the waste hierarchy. So we want to avoid that waste is shipped outside the EU, but we would like to make best use within the EU to recover secondary raw material. And the fact that there are EPRs in place should also steer a little bit investment in that area. And we hope this will happen. It's happening. There are already some signals that from producers associations, but also from what we can see, but the funding that is available on the Horizon or Live programs that is looking in that direction. There is a partnership that is called Textile for the Future. So the indications are going there. We hope that will be new technologies, innovative ones, that will also make this recycling more efficient and will lead to high quality secondary raw materials. So hope this will have a positive impact of waste managers, and also not only on waste managers, but as such, as we intended, but also on the social economy entities, which to whom the directive recognized the key role in all this system of collection of textile. So I hope that will have a positive impact on these operators.
And how will you ensure then that the producer organizations will focus their attention higher up the waste hierarchy and not more in the recycling area, for example?
Well, just to clarify, EPRs are national schemes, so it's up to member states to establish EPRs, national EPRs. We gave general indications on the activities that has to be covered by the financial contributions and what should be done. But member states will, through the PROs, will then have to report also back to us, specifically to the European Environment Agency, so that we can also see how textile is managed, and then we can see how PROs are following the waste hierarchy. But it should be also in their interest to follow that, because it should be also an economic advantage for them, not only to follow the waste hierarchy, but also to prevent waste generation by designing the products already in a more circular way through applying the principle of eco-design sustainable product regulation, for example, which will lead also to less, in principle, to EPR fees that are less expensive for sustainable products.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think we can say for local and regional policymakers, it should hopefully mean some more money coming in for these kind of activities. So that's a big positive, hopefully. So I'm going to the chat now. A question from Emil. Will the Commission be producing guidance for member states on the EPR? And hang on, I'm just reading in real time to make it a bit clearer. We received a question on eco-modulation for shoes. Shoes are not part of the EPR process yet. So how to set eco-modulation for shoes guidance could be helpful.
Oh, yeah, we know that footwear were not included in the ESPR, and in fact, they were not even included in the initial proposal for the modulation of the EPR fees. Well, we have to see how in the future ESPR will deal with footwear. I don't know if we will draft guidance for the modulation of shoes, footwear, so something we have to reflect upon. We have also to come up with sort of some guidance while amending some of the amending acts for the reporting obligations from the member states to EA. So there will be something, but we are there. We have to see. For the moment, the directive has been just entering into force, and we will have also to engage with member states to see what's really needed, and then we see how to proceed.
Okay, very good. Yeah, when I read it, I understood there was going to be some kind of guidance to harmonize somewhat between the member states, but okay, very good. But yeah, obviously it's still hot off the press, and there's still quite some work to do in that area. So we will keep a close eye. So I think we're going to say thank you very much, Vincenzo. For Astrid, you still have a burning question. Go for it.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry, I just wanted to ask you one question. You have been pointing out, the shipments, and that will be controlled. There will be inspections. You've also pointed at the eco design, and as I understand it, a lot of design is, for example, done in the EU. Before sometimes it's produced outside the EU. But the main concern also for the participants seems to be like the fast fashion, the ultra fashion, which is very often coming from outside the EU. You've mentioned it very briefly, but how will you associate organizations from outside the EU to these EPR schemes?
Well, the definition of producers, the Waste Framework Directive, it's done in a way that the producers are always based on the member states where they made available the products, because it's a national scheme. So we would like that the producers are responsible where they made available the products, meaning reaching the end user. But there is also a category of producer that is not established necessarily in the same member states or in the EU. It can be established also in a third country. And these are the ones that are selling, for example, via online platform, so by means of digital contracts. In this case, there are some provisions, for example, that requires online platform or fulfillment service provider to carry out a verification, let's say, of a check of the compliance of these producers with EPR schemes. And these producers have, in fact, to register to the PROs, pay the EPR fees, and report. So that's for the moment what is there. And then in terms of ultra-fast fashion, there is this additional possibility to modulate the EPR fees based on producer practices that are more sustainable than others. And when we will look at implementing acts to give, let's say, the criteria to eco-modulate, we will also have to consider these producer practices for the eco-modulation. To say it's not an easy task because there is no clear definition what is fast fashion, ultra-fast fashion, but we were aware of the problems that are there, and so we would like to address this issue, but we also would like to pay attention not to include in this overall definition of fast fashion, ultra-fast fashion, also sustainable and successful European companies. So we have to pay attention to different aspects there, and I hope we will make it through.
Thank you very much for clarifying this again. It's a very hot topic and it's very difficult and complex to address, but I think you have already some of the answers and you're moving forward, as James said. So back to you, James.
Thank you. Well, thank you again, Vincenzo. I think that's been excellent to give us that overview of all of the activities from the European Commission perspective on this topic. So now we're going to look to the regions.
Thank you. I'm looking forward for your policy brief. It's coming soon.
Excellent. Thank you. We'll make sure to share it. So now we're going to look to our Interreg Europe projects and to our Interreg Europe good practices. And first, we're going to Catalonia, and I'm going to give the floor to Pilar Chiva from the Waste Agency of Catalonia.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
We can hear you fine.
Okay. First of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to be here and share our experience on the project, on the Circular Fashion Agreement. I will try to share that. Can you see it? Or maybe I have to change.
Yeah, you just need to switch. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's perfect.
It's okay?
Yeah,
okay.
That's great.
Thank you. Okay, then thank you for the opportunity to be here and explain our project. I will try to keep the time that you gave me. Well, you know, in Catalonia, I have some number here. So we are producing a lot of textile waste, as everywhere in Europe. We are generating around 20 to 22 kilos per person per year of textile waste, and we are selective collection. We have selective collection of this waste, but only we are capturing around 13% of this waste. So most of it is going to landfill or incinerator. That's why we implemented this project, the Circular Fashion Agreement. This is an open, cross-cutting, and innovative initiative that wants to transform the textile sector towards circularity. This is a voluntary agreement that covers all the links of the textile value chain, and we are all committed to some common goals, and we work together to develop instruments and common projects. Everything began in 2017 with an Interreg project, the Dieuwertje Interreg project, where we had the opportunity to analyze circular opportunities in our region, in Catalonia. We studied specifically the textile sector and also the food and beverage sector. When we developed this analysis, we saw that we had in our region quite a good number of stakeholders in the textile sector that were aware of their impact, environmental impact, and wanted to do something to go to a more circular model. That's why we had a pilot project financed by the Interreg project, and we start working with some of these stakeholders in 3 committees to develop this voluntary agreement. For us, it's very important to say that it was a co-creation process. That was not something coming from the administration to the private sector. That was something that we created all together. We had a lot of meetings in these 3 committees until in January 2022, we get to a common content of the agreement that we signed in 2022. Since then, until now. We are implementing this agreement and the action plan, and we will keep this project at least since the implementation of EPR in Spain. In Spain, it was supposed to get into force in this year, in 2025, according to our waste law of 2022, but we are very late and we are expecting this EPR maybe for next year, 2026. And now this agreement has quite a good number of members, around 124. We have big companies, we have small companies, and covering all the links of the textile value chain, value sector. This is not a picture of good intentions. We have agreed to have quantitative objectives. We have objectives, general objectives for all the members concerning reduction of waste generation, collection of this waste, preparation for reuse and recycling. And then we have some specific and differentiated objectives for every link of the value chain, for the producers, the retailers, public administration, research centers, etc. How are we working? We have an action plan, and we are developing several pilot projects, and we have 4 working groups covering all the pilot projects. The 4 working groups are concerning collection of textile waste, recycling, circular products, and finally, dissemination and awareness. I will go through all these 4 working groups very fast and explaining you some of the outputs of these working groups so far. Concerning the first of the working groups, textile collection, for example, we have published this year a guide for local authorities in order to help them to contract the textile waste collection services. And we have developed this guide in close collaboration with waste managers and the municipal bodies. We are now drafting also tender models to facilitate this procurement of the services according to the recommendations of the guide. We have also another subgroup concerning the improvement of separate collection. We have pilot projects in 10 municipalities and 2 counties. And we are also trying to making the identification of best practices of collection, both in municipal channels, but also at private drop-off points. Concerning reuse, that is the main focus of the webinar, we have also made a compilation of best practices to increase this second-hand sales, thanks to another European project, Solstice project, that is an horizon. We have also several pilot projects for textile waste prevention and reuse, testing different ways to increase this reuse of textile, and all of them in close collaboration with ARECA, that is a new association created in Catalonia, thanks to another Interreg project, the Subtract project, that is the Association of Reuse Centers and Services of Catalonia, very active concerning reuse. And finally, concerning the first working group, we are also trying to get a common position regarding future EPR regulation in Spain. We have an analysis of the critical points of this implementation that we have been working with all the members of the agreement. Concerning working group 2, the development of local textiles recycling industry, we have produced a roadmap of critical points and needs of the industry in Catalonia. We still have textile industry in Catalonia, and we want them to be prepared for the recycling of post-consumer textiles. And we have promoted several projects of industrialization across the whole value chain for the use of post-consumer textiles in Catalonia. For example, RetexCat project, here you have the web page with more information, and other projects. Most of them have received subsidies or grants with the funds coming from the landfill tax in Catalonia.
2 minutes, please, Pilar.
Sorry?
2 minutes, please.
Okay. Concerning circular products, we have we are producing a guide for recommendation for green public procurement. And we have also produced some diagnosis on durability, recyclability, and tips for designers. And finally, last working group is concerning dissemination actions. We have the website of the project, a newsletter with all the news of the members, and we have a lot of awareness actions for citizens. We have created materials and organized events, such as a fashion event with second hand in Barcelona last week. We have several events in fairs, etc. We have a collaboration with a well-known singer, Miki Núñez, that is wearing secondhand in his concerts. And we have also designed a communication strategy with these three messages: prevention, reuse, and selective collection. Here you have some images of the events and the fashion show. This is the image of the communication campaign. And to conclude, I would like to give you some lessons learned or recommendations. For us, it has been very important to have a good analysis of the region, to understand very well the map of factors that you have in your region across the entire value chain. If you want you're thinking about producing a voluntary agreement in your territory, we recommend you to agree from the beginning with all the stakeholders. From the very beginning, the objectives, the operating and monitoring mechanisms, the commitments, etc., has to be worked all together. It is very important to create opportunities for mutual knowledge and understanding between the members and between the partners, because we sometimes think that everybody knows everybody, and it's not true. If you want to generate synergies, you have to make contact within these parties. And finally, the support of the public administration is very important. Technical support, political support, but of course also we have to provide the necessary funds for the management and implementation of this kind of project. It's not a cheap project. We have to put a lot of money, but we think it's a very successful project to go for a more circular sector in Catalonia. And that's all. Thank you for your attention. I'm happy to receive your questions.
Thank you so much, Pilar. If anyone has any questions for Pilar, please get them in the chat now. Very inspiring, I think. Firstly, the amount of stakeholders you've managed to bring together in the region, obviously a lot, and also transforming that really into action. We see, like, with the guidance documents you've created and the pilot projects, that there's really something tangible coming from this. So a quick first question was, you had on one of the slides some targets that you had with like numbers and qualitative data. Do you already have any data about actual?
Yeah, we have the data, and the bad news is that we didn't achieve the targets that we defined for 2024. There was very ambitious targets, and well, we didn't have the time to work enough to get this target. So we are postponing these targets for 2026.
Okay. And maybe I had a question. I can imagine with such a voluntary agreement, it could be maybe the easy part is to get people to sign and say, yes, we're happy to join this circular agreement. Yes, very nice.
Yeah.
And then how to transform that into action, and how to motivate people to put time and energy into that. I wonder if you have any advice or experiences on that.
Of course, you have some members that are very active and they are really willing to produce some real impact, and others that it's very easy to sign, but nothing happens afterwards. We require that every member has to participate in at least one working group. That's a requirement, okay? And until now, we didn't do much about this, but at the end of this year, we will see what's the level of participation of everywhere, and if somebody is not really participating in any meeting or something, we will invite them to get out of the agreement. And also we are asking every year a report, a little report of the activities related to the agreement. So we are asking them to report us their activities. Of course, there are some of them that are not answering this request. So that's now at the end of this year that we are going to see what's the level of implication of all of them.
Excellent. Okay, yeah, good that you can follow this up and monitor a bit the activities. Astrid, are you waving at me or?
Yeah, waving at you very briefly. Just wanted to ask you, Pilar, you have said that you have lots of guidance, different guides that you have already developed, also for eco design and for the EPR. We have had a question on guidelines if they will be available soon. Of course, I guess it's available in Catalan and Spanish, but do you also have them in English? Because it's sometimes coming out of
Not for the
project.
moment. We have mainly, first we are producing them in Catalan, and then we are translating some of them to Spanish. For the moment, not to English. We have not enough funds to do this, but of course, if there is an interest, we could study.
If you can share them, people have their means nowadays to translate things. So that would be really great. If you have links, please put them in the chat. We would be really happy about that.
Okay. Some of the guides are already published. Others are about to be published. So, but I can share some of them, of course.
Excellent. Thank you. I see also somebody in the chat wants to connect with you. So maybe you can follow that up in the next few minutes. But with that, I'll say thank you very much, Pilar. And we're going to move our attention northwards, and we're going up to Sweden to connect with our colleagues in Borås. I always say that place wrong, but you'll correct me. So I'm going to give the floor to Jonas and to Anett to give us an explanation of some activities happening up there. So over to you, please.
Oh, thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here, and I will have this beginning of this and the pronunciation of Borås. It's lovely.
Oh, thank
you. Manage? So it's no problem at all. I will share my screen as well, and hopefully it will work. So perhaps this will work. I hope this is working properly.
Yeah,
oh, that's good. And right now I'm from the city of Borås, and I will represent one of the good practices from the Nordic Textile Academy. And from now on, I would say MTA. And since the time is quite limited, we will go quite fast for the first years, and then into the output that we have received during the journey. So the NTA is a Swedish hub dedicated to education, training, and competence development for the textile and fashion industry. And this is a picture that actually connects everything due to how the rapid transition is already and right now. So here we are talking about something nice to meet you. What is this? This is a statement. Together we have the courage to change the world. And for the academy, it's quite important also to have this in mind. So, as it says in the text, it's a close collaboration with the industry. And that's so important for us, both as a city and also for the education centers, to work close with the one who actually is in the progress. This picture shows some few AI generated images. And if we have shown this like 6 weeks ago, you would never imagine that it's AI. So the education is also very connected to what's happening right here and right now. And also in the circle jobs, we can see that there is some jobs which are missing, and they will go out from the normal jobs, but instead there will be new ones. So we will have a lot of new circular jobs arriving at the market. And here we do have to be on our toes, so we can combine this with the new sectors. And of course, the educations, it's due to the European qualification frameworks, for sure. So we have knowledge, skills, and the competences, and we're doing it in the right way. And also, we are trying to find some kind of fast track for the new skills, because we think it's quite important that we do have an extra highway for the new ones to achieve the right goals, especially for the companies who is coming around these problems. So what about the findings we have done during this journey since we were starting in the project? Well, we was talking about sharing and caring, the structured collaboration between the education providers, companies, and policymakers with creating training solutions in the real industrial challenges. And that was one of the first pitches as well, that we're working quite close to the businesses. Another thing which is very important is learning by doing. We do, of course, the educational things in the classrooms. The theoretical knowledge is really important. We are talking about the sustainability, the material science, industrial standards, but also how to adopt them in the real world. To have this combination due to the workplaces. How does it actually seem outside? We have the hands-on problem solving, the professional network is the professional network building. You will be a part of the whole chain. This is one of the biggest main tasks we do have today, and it's working quite properly. And sustainability is fully integrated in the education. It's not like a single step. So it means you have it in everything what's happening due to the education. And this is also really, really important for us, how to create like it will be maintained and how it will be in the normal work, whatever you are doing. And the last thing is also the open sharing. We do have to be very open what we are doing, what kind of methods and materials we are dealing with. We have these free learning tools. We are open to international partners. We adapt frameworks supporting implements diverse contexts. And of course, it is one kind of sector-wide transformation, because building learning networks which will strengthen the industry, not only here, but all over the globe. And for us, we think it's quite important, not only for the education system, but also for us as a region into the textile industry. So with that, I will thank you. And if you have any more questions, please reach out and I will be transforming the questions to the Education Center for sure.
Thanks, Jonas. I think we can go straight over to Anett for your presentation. And then if we've got any questions for the colleagues in Borås, then we can take those together.
Okay, perfect. Do you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, thank you very much. Very happy to be here. My name is Anett Aldman, and I work as a project coordinator at Science Park Borås. Today I will talk about Labstore, which is connected to two of our ongoing projects. Circular Hub Twin Transition, which is financed by the European Regional Development Fund. In this project, among many other things, we are investigating how we can support scaling of the second-hand industry. The other project is the system demonstrator for a sustainable and circular textile system, financed by Vinnova. Among other things in this project, we're investigating how brands can scale their circular businesses. But before I go into the Labstore, just a few short words about Science Park Borås. Here we run a lot of different innovation and development projects. The main part is within textiles, and the reason for this is, of course, that we in Västra Götaland and Borås have a long tradition of textiles and textile production. And Science Park is situated in Textile Fashion Center. In this building is actually an old building from textile production. And in this house, we have a lot of different organizations that collaborate. We have the University of Borås and the Swedish School of Textiles. And also we have NTA, which Jonas just told you about. And apart from that, we have institutes, we have market facilitators and incubators. So it's a very good innovation environment. And apart from our offices, we also have our innovation center, Dieuwertje Center. So this is where the magic happens. Moving back to the Labstore and how it all started. It actually started with a question from one of the actors collecting textiles in the region. They wanted our help to look into the potential of selling textiles on the national market instead of exporting the textiles. And we identified three possible potential customers. We wanted to keep us in the upper part of the waste hierarchy, and by that we chose brands, commercial secondhand stores, and remake designers. And the commercial secondhand stores is mainly working today with commission models where they take back textiles from the consumers. The first step in this was to actually know what's in the collection of textiles. So to find out that, we sorted 5,000 kilos of the export fraction from Björk och Frihet, the textile collector. And the export fraction means that they had already taken out the best parts for their own secondhand stores, and they had taken out the waste and the contaminated textiles. So we went through this based on specifications from some secondhand stores, which we had discussions with prior to the sorting, and also remake designers. And together with that, we also took out everything, regardless of the condition levels, for the brands connected to the system demonstrator, which was Kappahl, Gina Tricot, Lindex, Eton, and Nudie, 5 Swedish brands. And we ended up saving 26% of this material. And the next step was to show the potential of these textiles. So then we built up a Labstore to visualize this quality, and that we did into the Dieuwertje Center. So there is a whole store that consists of the materials that were intended to be exported. And we can see that it's a very good quality and also well-known brands. To show the potential, we also went through the condition levels together with the brands. And what we found out was that 37% of the material that we took out was of really good condition. So 37 premium, and 42% had the potential to be reconditioned up to a higher condition level. And then the next step is to investigate the business potential in this, and that is actually still ongoing in both these projects. We have 3 commercial secondhand stores that will sell material from textile collection in their stores, and then we will make a business case on that. The current situation is that we have some delays in this, and that is due to the difficult situation that we have had within textile collection in Sweden, and that is due to the heavy increase that has been in the textile collection since we introduced the new legal requirement to collect the textiles separately. But we are on track now.
Conclude, please, Anett.
Yes, and together with the brands, we are also looking into the recondition methods, how to upgrade to a higher condition level. And as you know, then the projects are still ongoing, so we don't have the final results, but I can share some findings so far. And that is that the material from the textile collection is much better than we expected, and that there is an interest from in the material from both brands, commercial secondhand stores, and also customers. In one of the stores, we sold the collected textiles, and the sell-through was the same as on the commission sales. And we also see that it's possible to upgrade the condition level to a better condition level with the recondition methods that we have tested. And the really key to profitability will be to have efficient and automated sorting methods, so we can sort according to different specifications. Thank you for that, and I'll leave the word to you for questions.
Thank you so much, Anett. Thank you also, Jonas. We're running short on time, but I want to ask you one question in particular. You talked a bit there about the reconditioning, and I think that was a part of your project to try and like improve the condition of some of the products, and that seemed to be quite successful. So I wonder, like, to what extent you think that's a promising solution in this whole discussion, and also sort of how economical that is or was for you and could be for others?
Yeah, well, we have really good results. Of course, it depends on the value of the product from the start, if it's profitable or not. But the methods that we have investigated, they are scalable. So you can do a lot of material at the same time when you do, for example, bleaching and also enzyme treatments. So we're not to the end with these testings, so I can't give you the figures of it, but it looks promising still, at least for products with a higher value.
Okay, yeah, I think it's very interesting. If you have any more information on that you could share, that would be very useful. But I think like that, I'm going to move on because we still have one more presentation, and I definitely want to save some time to bring you all back for a discussion at the end. So for now, thank you very much, Anett and Jonas. But now I would like to hand over to Dieuwertje, who's been very patiently waiting for her turn today for her presentation. So good afternoon, Dieuwertje. I would give you the floor once you're ready to tell us all about free fashion.
Yes. Oh, I will do it very quickly. Can you see my presentation?
Yes, we can. It's great.
Yes. So hello. Well, I'm hopefully welcome, and I will keep it a little bit short so you can have more questions if you want for me or for the others. So welcome. I am a climate mayor in Tilburg from the Netherlands. So it's in the south of the Netherlands, and I am very interested in waste in general. So not only fashion or textiles, but whatever. And 1 year ago, I jumped into this, in this story of fast fashion. And I was a little bit of shock because I'm doing a lot of sustainable things. And I was shocked because I didn't know a lot about this. And I was shocked because we have a lot of pollution. We buy, and we sell on Vinted, or we throw it away like it's trash in our gray in the normal waste. Sorry, and what we don't know is when we throw it away like it's trash, then we put it in our fire burning stations, and we can't use it anymore. Not for reuse for normally wearing, but you can also use it for new yarns or for downcycling or whatever. So it was a little bit of shock. And then we started with a mobile clothing rack. So here in the Netherlands, we have sharing points in front of their houses for books and also for plants. So we want to start it for our clothes. So I dive in my own wardrobe and I saw some pieces that I didn't wear anymore, and we call it free fashion. So I already buy it and I already paid it, and it's waiting for I don't know what, but when I am diving in it, I will pick them and I will throw them away, or I bring them to the thrift store or whatever. So we want to share it with our own street, with our own city. And it started with this clothing rack. And then we go doing research in our thrift store. And then I was already shocked. But this was another shock for me, because they filled 2 sea containers with textiles, and they go to a buyer because they get more in their stores than people will buy in their stores. So there is a pollution also at thrift stores. And then my mind was blowing, because I thought when I bring my clothes to the thrift store, the people here locally will wear my clothes. But yeah, there was a shock. It isn't that way of turning. So yeah, we find also this shirt. This is my boyfriend. We do it together. And he find this t-shirt, and he was, yeah, it was nice. It was the Spice Girls, and he was doing good with this t-shirt. And a few hours later, I noticed that there is one extra Spice Girl on this t-shirt, and we were laughing because there is one of this t-shirt in the whole world. So I think it's a Madame Tussauds, or yeah, whatever picture on it. So we laugh about it, and that is what fashion is. It's what we are. It's our identity. We're wearing it. It's very nearby, and we think we have a lot of trends, and yeah, it's who we are. And then we thought maybe we have to start rethinking this, our clothing rack, and we're making it a new brand. So everyone has a wardrobe with clothes inside, and 1/3 of it, you don't wear it for 1 year or longer. So we call it free fashion. And we started a campaign around this not wearing clothes. And this is me with the new raining coat. I also found it. And this is one of our models. So we started to going onto the streets, and we scout some people who looks nice, or we thought they have vintage clothes on. So we asked them for, yeah, do you want to be a model for 5 minutes? And you can be one of our models for our awareness campaign. So we want to start a discussion about our waste and how we can reuse our waste. So the next step is, yeah, maybe we have to do thinking about what we are, but also what does other brands do. So most of the time they have new collections, and they make catwalks with new items, and they also starting stores. So we want also starting a store. So it's maybe a big dream for a little child, and maybe we are 2 little childs in our mind, but we want to start a store. So in Tilburg, in our own city, I know a lot of people. So in a few moments, I have a store, and we open it with our textile waste. So you can see it's a normal store. And what we want to do is that that our target group is the people who always buy new clothes. So we want to, imitating fast fashion shops or stores. So we do it like this, and you can also bring your clothes. So we introduced everyone in our store for, you can dive in your own wardrobe, and what you don't wear anymore, you can bring it to our store, and we want to share it with someone else locally, and also talk about this waste and pollution. So we started with making our own price tags, and on the other side, you can find the true price. So what costs a t-shirt or a jeans. So a jeans is more than 7,000 liters of water, and also CO2 or more of waste. So you can see what you're buying. And the nicest is you buy things like it's a normal store, but we aren't a real store. We are more like a theater. We are more like a theater with a lot of actors inside. They knew everything about the world of the industry, of the fashion world. And we have customers, and every audience we get in our store, everyone can come buying 3 items, and after all you get a bill with a 0 on it. So you can pay with a smile. And this is my father. We started 1 year ago in Tilburg, and of course he's very proud, and he wants to stand in front of the door, and he wants to give everyone 3 tickets so they can pick 3 items in our store. And then there was a big queue in front of our store, and then we thought, oh my God, free fashion. Oh my God, what's doing? What are we doing? So a lot of people are interesting and want 3 free items because they don't know. It's a kind of, I don't know how you say it, but we have a horse of Troy. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's here in the Netherlands. We say it because you have the history of Troy, and they bring a horse, and inside there are people who will destroy the city from inside. And so we are kind of that, but then we are a store, or we look like a normal store. And when the people come inside, they get a lot of information. We talk about them, we do research, and we have a lot of positivity and a lot of smiles. And then we go national on TV and on the internet, and a lot of people will texting about us, but also in the whole of Europe. So also in Greece, and also in Portugal, but also in a language I didn't notice what it is, but I think it's Chinese or whatever. So, and it's my head on the front photo, so I think it's going about free fashion. And then we thought, what are we doing? So we started 1 year ago in September, and now we have opened our 6th store. And next month on Black Friday, we will open our 7th store. And it started as a statement, not as a business model, but we want to transform the whole textile industry. So with all the partners inside of the industry, so we look like it's not, we don't hate anyone or whatever. We have a problem with each other, and we have to participate with each other to make a difference. And also we started with a store on Utrecht Central Station. This is the biggest train station in the Netherlands, with 250,000 people each day on the station.
Dieuwertje,
and there was a waiting.
I'm going to need you to wrap up in the next 30 seconds.
Yes, thanks. And it was a waiting queue for 1 hour, and I thought, what's going on? All those people who we target do, most of the time they buy new stuff and will throw it away. So it's more like an awareness campaign. And then we go to Rotterdam, and we did have a kids store as well, and with also a stuffed toy car wash inside, because also stuffed toys will also be textile and nobody knows. And then it goes on and on and on. And now we don't do it anymore with each other, but we do it with a lot of volunteers. And in the last year, we have now more than 600 volunteers who are working with us, because everyone has an inner voice that will tell, you have to do something good to this planet. We want a bigger planet with more green and more smiling and happy feelings together. And a lot of audience are involved. So we want to also make the first step. So we make our own socks of new merchandise, of course, for circular yarns. And this is our story, but it looks like we are already do it for 10 years or whatever, but it was 1 year of experience. I didn't know anything about the fast fashion industry, and now I'm involved with also the governments of a lot of cities, and with a lot of people who are doing well or are pioneers in the market. And also we are talking with a lot of brands to do something different and start pioneering with us.
I think I think you could.
We want to introduce everyone to more be aware about this world, and we want to talk with you if you have an idea or whatever.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I can feel the passion coming through the screen, and I'm sure you could talk for much, much longer, and we really appreciate that. We have a few questions in the chat, and a few of them around the same topic, which is like, this is very, the simple question really of like, who is paying for all of your lovely shops and the rent and the equipment? And I understand you've been working, I mean, you have a lot of friends in Tilburg, and you've been working with some other cities. So maybe you could just tell us a bit how that's working.
Yeah, as the first store was more like a statement. So we started like two crazy people who want to start this. And then the news came, and then we get calls from all of the Netherlands, from a lot of municipalities, but also from people with, I want to do something. Can I do something? And there was a lot of happy things around it. So more like positivity way. And then we start thinking after a few months, what's going on? So there has to be a kind of business model inside, but there was not the first idea. So now at the moment, the municipalities will hire us for our awareness campaign, because a lot of cities has a lot of trash, a lot of pollution in textile waste. Also, they separately on the different way. So every city has another way to collect the things, and we do the research in our store, and we can share it with each other, and then they can use more textile containers in the cities and whatever. So it's also not ready. So we are doing our thing at the moment, but we're learning, and there are a lot of options. So let's do it.
I see that there's some cities are taking your model as kind of a ready-made awareness raising activity for them, that they can then essentially work with you and hire you then to really just like take that space and raise awareness amongst the. So I'm going to invite. So I'm going to have to stop you there and invite the other speakers to come back, because we really have just the last few minutes, and I would like to hear a last word from everybody. So if we can, Pilar, if you're still there, Anett, excellent. Okay, so Astrid, did you have any questions for the speakers before I?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, well, we're really, really short on time, and there's a storm brewing here, so I want to try and finish on time as well. So I think really, I'm looking for some final words of advice. Really, we have a lot of people here who are working on the Textiles Challenge, and from your experiences in your regions, what would be like the key bits of advice you could give to other regions around Europe who are dealing with this challenge? What would be your 30-second key points that you would share from your experiences? So maybe we go back to Pilar first.
Yeah, as you said, I think the challenge is huge. We have an enormous problem with textile waste. We need to change our mind about consumption of waste, of textiles, about consumption of secondhand, but we need EPR as soon as possible. That will be my message to European Commission and to national authorities also, that we can only solve the problem of management of waste, textile waste, with EPR.
Yeah, so some more responsibility, especially financial responsibility from the producers and from the retailers. Anett?
No, well, I would say that what we need is a system change, and to be able to do that, we need the regulations in place. We need to change the consumption behavior. We need to have a completely new infrastructure for the circular businesses. We need new technology. I would say we need everything to sort of run at the same time to be able to get the system change.
Yeah, indeed. It's not one silver bullet solution for this one. And Dieuwertje, very, very quickly.
Yeah, we have to take an inventory of what are the problems in the whole business, because you have buyers and you have sellers, and they have different things they have to do, and they have different targets, whatever. So you have to, make it with each other. We have to wait. We have to more collaborated with each other, so and make it open, because the problem is too big to make one little change.
Very good. Thank you for that. I'll give over to Astrid for the very last words, and thank you from me.
Thank you, James, and a big thank you to all the speakers. So it was really, really interesting, and I've really enjoyed every single presentation, because you have been bringing so many aspects together. We've heard from the Commission what they have been doing with the Waste Framework Directive, and that they're actually targeting also shipments, the eco design, and so on and so forth. We've heard from Pilar how the regions can prepare, that they should start already, even if the EPR is not yet in place, but map your value chain, set yourself targets, even if they're ambitious, but they should be ambitious, so that you do actually make some progress. Prepare your guidelines also for eco design, and do some awareness raising, as we've heard with your singer that you're implying, and so on and so forth. The training aspects that have been coming from Sweden, I think, were excellent. We need new professions. As Dieuwertje was saying, we have to, collaborate all with each other. It's very important that we have also people that can do that job, or want to learn that job. We've also heard from Sweden that the material was better than you expected, and that you actually had interest in that material to be reused, and that it's possible to upgrade it even. So that's actually excellent news. Automation is key. I think that is also a good opportunity for new technologies. And finally, we had the energy, the inspiration about this awareness raising campaigns. Very interesting way of bringing this forward, to drawing people in, and to teaching them actually what they're doing, so that they can also make a difference, not only as a volunteer working with you, change the world, but also as a consumer, buy differently, do something, change your behavior. Very important. And finally, a business model should be there for everyone, for the businesses to make sense. Otherwise, well, the one thing is, like, they follow the money, and there has to be some money in that as well, so that it works. And they will also follow the consumers. If they do a certain thing, they will also follow them. So that's that from me, very fast, with the main things that I remembered. So thank you very much to everyone for this exciting webinar. Don't be shy. Join us next week. We have another big issue, which is food waste, that we are trying to tackle. And come join us, and don't be shy. Give us also some feedback, and all the questions that have not been answered, we will try to answer afterwards, so it's not lost in space. So answer our survey, and see you soon, hopefully next week. Thanks a lot, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.